Hello YouTube, it's Bergeron from Inaxsys. I hope you're doing well today. In this video, I want to show you how to create access levels and groups with the ICT Protege platform. This is obviously something that you must know. The access level is basically like a container, adding the ability to a user to access different types of areas or doors in the system. So everything that's user related, everything related to the user rights to any feature or item that the GX system can control is in the access level. So you will see doors, group of doors, floors, group of floors, areas or partitions that you can arm and disarm. So basically, this is something you need to do at every site that, whether you do access control and intrusion, an access level is required before someone can enter the system, all right, or can disarm and arm the system. So today, I'm going to show you how it's done. Let's have a look at the Protege GX system. And I'm going to start from the home page and then show you how everything needs to be programmed. Okay, let's start. So from the home page, I need to go to the users section and then to access levels. Okay, so in this example, I already have 2 access levels created. Let's have a look at the, let's say, an access level that you would like to create for, let's say, new employees or something that will have a restricted access to different doors or partitions in the system or areas. So if I use the employees as an example, from the top here, you'll see the different items that we can control with this access level. So doors and door groups. And then floors or floor groups, elevator groups, menu groups. This is for menu access on these keypads, okay? Arming and disarming area groups, because we can separate this. So for instance, you could allow, let's say, the maintenance staff, the cleaners, to only arm the system when they're done, but they cannot disarm the system because they need to show up before the last employee leaves the building. Okay, so that's just a quick example. And there's also the ability to activate different outputs based on the access level access to some of the doors, or maybe logging on some keypads. This is for some sort of automation features. Let's say you want to turn on the lights when someone comes in first in the morning, or start the air conditioning, or things like that. So, but that's a more advanced feature. We're not going to cover this today. The key here is to show someone, either an end user or an integrator that is new to the system, on how to create those access levels. Okay, so let's have a look at how we can add door access, to this access level. So very easy. The first way to link a door to an access level is from the Doors tab. Remember, this is only available in GX, and there was, in an older system that was called Protege SE, there was no Doors tab in the access level. So with GX, we had the ability to add a single or multiple doors one by one within the access level. If we go here, we go add. I have 2 doors on my little kit here now, so I see they already have access to the main entrance. Okay, I could have also the employee's entrance like this by a drag and drop, or I can simply click and then click OK to save the change and add the door to the list. We can also control the direction. That's pretty cool. I mean, if you want to have some doors only accessible from exiting, the building, then you could actually set the direction to exit. So they cannot enter those doors, they can only leave the building. Let's say an emergency door, there's a fire, or there's a a situation in the building that people need to leave through those doors. I could allow only the exit, through the list of doors here. So, and there's also, as we showed in the previous video on how to create schedules and holidays, we can obviously link a schedule to the door, so the user would only, be able to enter these doors within, in this example, the office staff schedule. Okay, so that's one way to add doors into an access level. Now, let's say there's a group of different doors that everybody will have access to. Sorry, 5 doors that are commonly accessible to the cafeteria, the lobby door, the break room door, things like that. So basically, it may be simpler to just for those 5 or specific doors to create a group of doors, and then you assign this group of doors to all the access levels, okay? And then you fine tune, card access and the door access control by adding maybe the parking lot for some employees who are paying for parking, or maybe they pay for the gym every month. Maybe you want to have the gym doors to the access level. But in this case, if you want to add a group of doors, it's very easy. Under the groups tab, if it's, let's say, some kind of master access levels, you can include all doors, all right? Meaning that if any door is added to the system, you don't have to remember to go back to the access level. This door will be automatically allowed because we use the include all doors. But if it's a specific group that you need to create, we can either click on add here, and I can see there's no door groups created in my system, so you can hit the create door group button, okay? And then we can add a new one. Let's say employees, and then I can pick the 2 doors that are now listed in the list. I can hit the save button and okay, and now the group of doors is now added to the system. Very simple, okay? So again, if you have common doors, create a group of them, and then you can basically fine-tune the access levels by adding single doors or multiple doors to different access levels depending on their access rights, okay? As you know or may know, the ICT Protege GX system sold by Inaxsys is also able to control floors, right? So in this case, just like we did for doors and door groups, we can either assign the floors directly to the access levels, or we can, you know, I don't have a floor right now, so let's just, for the fun of it, floor 2, for instance, floor relay is going to be 1 because my first control floors. And I hit save, I hit OK, I now have a floor. But if you have, again, just like the doors, if you have a group of floors that are accessible to everybody in the system or to a lot of users, you may want to create a floor group, okay? And this will simplify programming later. Okay, so if they have the like parking level floors, you can basically drop those floors in, okay? There's also elevator groups, and that's very important. And the way we configure an elevator system with ICT Protege GX, we basically need to create elevator cars or cabs, right? Typically, there's a reader inside each cab, okay? So we need to be able to identify, you know, where the user is allowed to have access to. Maybe there's some maintenance elevator car for, you know, the maintenance staff that is not accessible to regular employees. So we need to make sure we don't put this elevator car in the group where the regular users will need to have access to. So, you know, if there's 4 cabs, you put cab 1, 2, 3 in there, and you save. And then basically it's a combination of badging inside the car. You know, the system will look, okay, is the user allowed to this elevator car? Yes, then we will allow access to the floors they have access to. There's different levels of elevator control. We will cover this in a future video. You know, there's like low-level and high-level integrations that we have. But this will be explained another time. Okay, so so basically that's it for elevator control. Now the next step in programming access levels, it's called menu groups, and this is only required if you're using one of those alarm keypads from ICT in a system. If you're using only card readers to arm and disarm, for instance, or if it's a pure access control system that you're doing with us, you don't need to create menu groups, okay? So in basically what the menu group is, if I open this one here to create a new one, okay, or look at the properties of this one, let's say, okay, so basically from menu 1 to 8, you decide, okay, is this user going to have access to controlling our areas to arm and disarm the system? Yes. Is he going to be an installer? So remove it if we don't need that. Okay. So the idea is you only leave the menus that are required for that user to operate the system. This way they have a very easier view of, you know, what they can do or not in the system. If you put all the menus available, maybe they will be able to do something that they're not supposed to. So make sure you create a very basic user menu group for regular employees. You know, sometimes the people, you know, they have difficulties learning a new system. So let's make it simple first, and then if they need to do more, you can add up later. Okay, so typically we create like an installer type of menu group for an installer to log in and change the IP address of the controller and things like that. Or the next step is to basically create a user menu group where they can control areas, review events, maybe control doors and, you know, bypass zones and, you know, view the alarm memory in the menu and clear alarm memory. So this is the type of things that typically everybody using one of those keypads will need to do, okay? After the menu groups, we need to look at the arming and disarming area groups, okay? So obviously this is important. As soon as you have an intrusion and access control system integrated, you need to allow users to disarm and arm some partitions, okay? So same as we did for the groups of doors, basically you need to either pick an existing one or create a new one, okay? And then basically you add the partitions that the user will be allowed to arm and disarm in the system. So if I go back here like that, so in this case, I'm going to add the office partition for employees. So in this tab, we allow arming, all right? And in the other tab, we allow disarming, okay? Typically, when someone is allowed to disarm the system, they are also allowed to arm. But it is possible to create an access level only to allow some restricted users to arm when they leave, okay? And that is also something required if you arm a partition on count 0, for instance. So when the last person leaves, we need to basically allow them to arm, otherwise it's gonna fail to arm on them, okay? Basically, this was how to create an access level, okay? And the different groups or records that are linked inside the access level, all right? Remember, with ICT Protege GX, there's really no limit in how many access levels we can create, and we can assign a lot of access levels to the same user as well. The idea is to make some clean programming, make sure everything is labeled properly. There's no duplicates of access levels, otherwise it's going to become complicated for the end user to understand the structure, okay? So you want to make different groups, access levels, and then link them to users. Again, my name is Fred Bergeron from Inaxsys. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, if you like our channel, please subscribe. If you have ideas, questions, about this video or anything else, please send the comments down below and we'll be more than happy to answer you. Thanks.